What one area, above all else, would be your unique focus while in office?
Somehow finding workforce housing for everybody in this town, but particularly for the people that live south of Tropicana that are being forced out of their homes by gentrification. They are really in the worst shape there. I've knocked on 1,000 doors, and there's an 80 or 93-year-old lady named Bertie Singletary. She has nowhere to go, but she is called daily by investors and speculators to buy her house. She has no mortgage. She doesn't even pay insurance on the house. She has no family. She has neighbors around her. This is her community. She doesn't want to go back to Waycross, Georgia, where she came from. So I have found ways that we can, in fact, finance homes for $120,000. Now, still, that's a huge amount of money for a lot of families. If you can get 10% down, your payment is only $501 a month, principal and interest, and plus taxes and insurance for a 3-2 house on a regulation 50-foot lot. Also, I'm going to get kind of flexible zoning where we can put some of these tiny homes, skinny homes on non-contiguous, non-conforming lots, that we can get more houses to share a driveway if they don't have an alley in back. That way we can double the density. Let's go up. We've got that 23 acres across from Sylvia's that is currently zoned industrial, and I believe a BMW motorcycle plant is coming in there. How does that help the neighborhood? Well, they said, well, we'll walk around and we'll eat lunch. No, let's build some mid-rise housing for people that live around there at a decent rate. So 501 for a mortgage, 1,200 for a rental apartment, a 2-bedroom, that makes no sense to me. And let's get people, as soon as they get a good job, into a house. The best thing you can do to break multi-generational poverty is to get into your own home. Leverage that capital as you go through life.
Okay.
That's
Now,
number one.
Currently, the lots are what, 50? 50
Most
by,
lots are 50,
by
yes.
125? Well, that's what.
About, yes.
Okay, yeah,
yes.
so, all right, yeah, that makes sense.
But if we can get 2 houses on a 50-foot lot, we can double this. Habitat is doing their thing, but if you have a criminal record, you do not qualify for a Habitat for Humanity home. So, and they only build X number a year. The best way to do this as well is to renovate current housing stock that's cement block, not the wood houses, because they'll probably be torn down and bulldozed, and they are. So, I hate the word gentrification, but it's moving further and further south. It's in Rosa Park, the part that wasn't even good anymore. Somebody just bought a house by the cemetery for $30,000, has built a house for $350,000, has flipped it, and made that kind. He doesn't live anywhere near the neighborhood. That's what's going on.
What specific one policy, program, or investment will you champion and try to get done in your first year?
I'm going to try and get apprenticeships, public works academies. We have one at P-Tech. We don't have anywhere else for young people coming out of high school, even with a GED, to get job skills in the trades where they can go through that 4 years. And they have them in Tampa, $20,000 a year for training plus benefits. Second year, 30, 40, 50. Then you're a journeyman. Now we're a right-to-work state. You may have to leave the state to make that kind of money, but let's give these apprenticeships, let's put people in there. I visited the ironworkers past Tampa by the fairgrounds, and they have students over there from St. Petersburg. They were getting paid $10 an hour helping to build the one skyscraper downtown. They were getting a decent wage, and the guy felt, we don't have to give them that wage. Let's give them $10 an hour. That's ridiculous. Who's going to make a living on $10 an hour? It's that whole living wage thing. $15 is a living wage. So that's the thing I would push for.
Okay.
The other thing is, though, inclusionary zoning. City Council passed that this year, sent it to the Pinellas County Commission. They're sitting on it. But we passed it with majority. I'm going to bring that back up and do it for St. Petersburg. That means any developer has to set aside 10% of all units over 10 that he's building for lower income, but city workers. $30,000 to $50,000 a year, so they have a place to live.
Okay.
Among the same unit in a market price kind of building.
How will you build relationships and bridges between downtown and midtown?
I am a bridge. I have been a bridge since Gypsy met me. When I moved here in 2006, 2007, I started with the Obama campaign. I was one of the point people because they couldn't come until mid-2008. So I was all over Midtown. People called me. I think even she called me for some swag for Obama. And because I was so involved with the campaign, I got to travel with him. So I met a lot of people in Midtown. I've worked with them. I'm now working with the people that are starting their own businesses. The Creole Cafe, Carla's, Gallery 909, the Deuce's Rib Place, on down the street. Well, they're not waiting for City Hall. This was a question with the Times. Would Baker or Kreisman be better for the people in Midtown? Midtown's doing it on their own. They're starting. They need some capital sometimes, but they're doing very well. And this is the younger generation. You know, these are the people that I've just met, but others as well. Okay. So I mean, I walk into Mount Zion. I am so comfortable at these forums because I know half the people there. I'm looking around when you're sitting up there, and I can pick them out. And I'm not, you know, they're not necessarily supporting me whatsoever, but I know who they are. I've worked with them on projects.
Okay.
Okay, so if I recall correctly, you were one of the convention delegates
I
elected
was.
that year?
Elected. We had to go to Tampa.
Would you say that among the non-black candidates that you possibly have a deeper history or understanding of the black community?
Absolutely.
Would you be comfortable saying anything like that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I said this at the time, so I can say it for you. Gina Driscoll is a very, very nice person. Her breadth of knowledge in District 6, now the boundaries have changed, so all of downtown is kind of in District 6. She could very well be in the top 2, even win it, because old people like me are engaged voters and vote by mail. So she's got some of that downtown locked up. She looks scared to death when she comes to Midtown and some of the South Side events.
Did you actually say that to the Times?
Basically.
Okay.
Is that bad?
Okay, we're containing laughter here. Because not having read the Times piece that has been said multiple times by
Carl Nurse endorsed her. I was really disappointed. Carl Nurse recruited her after Augie to get in the race. When he wasn't going to drop $250,000. Gina, of all people.
Is that publicly known that Carl Nurse
Absolutely.
recruited her?
He told me even.
Okay.
And it's in the
Blackman said
Times
that
article.
Okay.
I'm sure she said it as well.
Okay.
I don't
interesting.
get it. I
Okay.
just don't get that one.
Okay.
Because Carl has been great for District 6. I mean, you remember what happened when he was appointed
Right,
for
yeah.
the first
I
2
remember,
years.
yeah.
But then he got 2 elected terms, and he's done a good job.
Yeah.
Not everybody says he's done a good job, but he's often accused of gentrification himself. Buying lots, improving the house, flipping them.
Okay.
But I like Carl. Nobody's better at constituent services than Carl Nurse.
Which current council member do you respect most and why?
It's really a tie, but for different reasons. Amy Foster came out of nowhere 4 years ago to run for this seat. There was nobody in the race that was really very good. I didn't know Amy. I got to meet her as soon as she announced. We have a bond that we're like sister and brothers. We talk all the time because we can talk off the record about things going on with City Council, and we are so on the same plane about things. There is bullying, there is sexism, there is racism within City Hall. And she calls them out on it. She is great. She
Okay.
hates this sewage thing. Tell this report, correct it the next day, a week down the road, correct it again. That scares the public. They're panicking about a public health crisis we could have. So, yeah, it's Amy, and then Carl, and I like Steve. You know, Steve's gotten really kind of bitter in these last 2 years, and that's it.
Okay.
That's great.
That's my top.
Nobody's
Alright.
ranked him.
And
And Darden is over here. Can I say one thing about Darden?
Yeah, please.
That if you would not use this?
okay, this is on the record.
Darden has amassed, for the second time in 4 years, $100,000 in donations. And she has a PAC. She was the one who started the Defend Democracy movement that tried to get black money so we could overturn Citizens United. Darden has a PAC of her own. Now, how hypocritical is that?
Well, what is wrong with having a PAC?
Because you
per
can't
se?
trace the money. You can't
Okay.
find out who donates to it.
Okay. Do you
I think
think Darden has abandoned her own values?
No. Because
Okay.
Darden she was probably the best prepared person ever for that city council seat. That was her third time running for something.
Right.
She is great on environmental issues, on sustainability, on a whole lot of stuff that I care about as well.
Right.
Which mayoral candidate will you vote for?
I'm on record that I'm voting for Rick Kreisman. I have met with both.
And why? Right. Right.
Rick Kreisman, I supported 4 years ago to the max, financially and also personally. His first 2 years were fantastic. The sewer thing, as I was quoted today, is going to do him in. Last week, we had another spill at the Southwest plant. We got 4 versions of that story.
From
we
the
still don't know. We still don't know what has happened.
And the rains weren't that great.
2 inches. If we get 14 inches of rain or whatever in 2 days, that will be another public health crisis. According to the city, if you look on their website, because they give updates daily of what's going on with sewage and that plant, they say everything's fine. But it's not fine. The water came outside the storage container for 25 feet in a circle and went into the swale there and went into the ground. And is going to go into Clam Bayou eventually. We can't have that. We just can't do it. Let's hire the best consultant we can get. Let's get, I don't know, we have a plan in place, but it's going to take too long. We get a big storm this year or next year, we're in bad shape. 2 inches of rain, you're right. That should not have caused this.
No.
I understand a valve was left open because they're under construction. And let me say this as well. Jesus, sorry, Jesus. We have a communications director just for the water department, Logan. He gets paid $90,000 a year to communicate.
Wow.
He got an email. He went to bed. For God's sake, so we got Amber alerts. We got senior alerts. Let's have a sewage alert that the communications director knows about it at 11:15, can alert the media, who will alert the public. I have friends in Lassen Park, and I'm walking the old Southeast. They're really upset. They can't let their kids go into the water. And they didn't even know about this one.
Right. Yeah.
So honestly, sewage is doing this administration in. And that's unfortunate. Because the city is on a roll. It's done really well. Particularly under Kreisman. Not under Foster. Under Kreisman.
Okay. Next question. Did you give that question?
Yeah, I did that one.
Okay. So our blood sugar is slowly coming.
What is the biggest financial waste you've identified in city government?
Well, from year to year, I mean, that budget is huge. And of course, that's the biggest thing that city council does, is look at that budget and pass it. The biggest waste, and I'll use the term again, it is the pier has been a boondoggle. We're at 61 million and counting. They've allocated 14 million more for amenities and that crazy sculpture in the sky, a webby thing that's going to kill birds and all of this. I mean, I don't think they'll ever approve that. I happen to like the waterfront without the pier. I took family and friends to that old pier. I wish I'd been here when the $1 million pier was here. Were you here? Then?
No.
Yeah. I mean,
Wait a minute. Is
What-
it the one
that
before
was
the
a
hotel.
inverted?
Yeah.
The hotel.
Okay. No, then I wasn't.
Yeah. Were you born? I mean.
Were you-
So you're not.
Well, I wasn't there either. So, but I see it. The inverted pyramid could have been reconfigured
That's nice.
and covered in a different kind of external material, gutted all the shops inside, get rid of all that tacky stuff that was on the first floor, and we'd still have a place for fishermen, for people to come to walk out there to enjoy the view. The view is fantastic from out there.
I hate how they erase our history. Because that pier, it was historical. It was an inverted pier. It was like the biggest thing when they first built it in the 70s. It was the big pier, and everybody came around to see the pier. That history's gone.
Piers around the country, San Francisco, Santa Cruz, they are iconic for different reasons. This pier, if you look at the rendering, it's not iconic
Yeah.
whatsoever.
That's what you think of when you thought of
Yes.
St. Pete. You thought of the inverted
Yeah.
pier.
Actually, and you talk about history. When we, I knew the because I lived in Miami before I came here. I knew the Tropicana field went up, and there was no team. I think they even played ice hockey in there for a while.
Oh, they did all kind of things.
Yeah. So yeah, you level 100 businesses. You push everybody out of Peppertown or gas plant or whatever you want to call it, and that was terrible. So in this new plant, I don't care if the race there or not. I'd like them to stay, but if they don't, what a gift that 85 acres is, almost in the center core. But we're not going to build a satellite downtown. We're going to build a mixed-use development connected to Midtown so everybody gets to enjoy that area. Jobs, workforce housing, technical training, a fun place. If you look at the renderings, honest to God, there's nobody African American in those renderings. I looked. There isn't. Go look. They just HS Key put it back online again. I can't find anybody. I noticed those things. Maybe that's racist, but I noticed those things.
The Burg votes, up close and personal interviews with the candidates.
Hatred's never okay, discrimination's never okay.
Black people get felony convictions for things white people don't even get arrested for.
They're not just going to say that they're needy.
We have the worst leadership in this county.
This is all very new to me.
Nobody can tell me who I can support and who I can't support.
Downtown, the biggest issue is parking. When I'm in Midtown, the issue is jobs. How do you support our businesses?
And the unique challenges that face this district and the kind of the question about Midtown and downtown.
Gentrification is, pushing the people out of their community by any means necessary.
Half the candidates just live downtown.
They haven't done much for the African American community.
The guiding principle of the administration would be reparations and economic development.
You've heard the news reports. Now hear from the candidates. The Burg votes.